Episodes 4 and 5 of Secret Invasion were leading to a finale and were kinda decent in my eyes. Yeah, it wasn't the best paced show, but I think Marvel Studios is starting to see their TV problem. I was pulled away after episode 3, however, simply because of the pace of the show was kinda going a little bit too slow. I liked the performances that we were getting from week to week. I just wanted the plot and the story to move along a little bit quicker. A reason I felt that way might be because that we're all just used to seeing a quicker and shorter MCU adventure. However, the drag out with Gravik's big moments and movements started to get tiring. Episode 4 is titled Beloved and revolves around the relationship and marriage that Nick Fury had with his wife Priscilla. A Skrull ally, also known as Vara, she takes the form of a young woman wanting to live a new life on Earth. While keeping this secret from Fury might have been sinister, I guess the show tries to play it off as more sweeter than it actually was. Ultimately, the two are at odds and might be more enemies now than a married couple. Gravik, of course, gave her the mission of killing Nick Fury. The two of them meet at home, each carrying a pistol. The two reminisce about their relationship and their marriage briefly before taking a shot at each other. They both intentionally miss and rather go their separate ways. Fury later confronts Skrull Rhodey and drops by some Pappy Van Winkle. The two share a drink, but make no mistake, these two are at odds. Rhodes threatens to reveal the footage of Nick Fury shooting Maria Hill unless he backs off. Fury then does back off, not without including a little bit of a tracking device within that Pappy Van Winkle. Talos and his daughter Gaia meet discussing on what to do next moving forward. Talos insists that the Skrulls, not hell-bent, should be able to get on the good side of Earth's rulers. He rather wants to show the rulers of Earth that there is a good side to the Skrulls. Gaia is obviously appalled to see her father become so quote-unquote naive and leaves him. Gravik and Skrull Rhodey coordinate a fake Russian attack on the US president. They arrive to the UK to quote-unquote patch things over. They're ambushed by the Skrulls posing as Russian aggressors. Fury and Talos arrives to intervene. They retrieve the president and escape the rubble. However, Talos gets shot before being able to free the president from a flipped over car. Gravik later sneaks up on Talos using a disguise and stabs him in the chest before taking off. Nick Fury is forced to leave his friend behind with the unconscious US president in his car. Such a somber moment and such a terrible ending for Talos, and I obviously wanted a better ending for the character. I thought that the way he went out, while yes, it was going to give Gravik a big boost in terms of how bad of a person he is, I think that Talos would have been better kind of still playing that mentor role, especially being that first Skrull that Captain Marvel met years back. Episode 5 was the best episode leading to the finale. It finally gave us a glimpse into the psyche and into the mind of Gravik. He's searching for the goldmine of DNA samples. The harvest is a single dose of DNA carrying the powers and the abilities of the Avengers and many others. Fury arrives at the hospital with the US president and insists on watching over the wounded leader. Gravik's failed assassination attempt gets him in trouble with some of the Skrulls at New Skrullos. Beto and others decide to sneak up on Gravik after seeing Pagon get nerfed earlier. They fail to beat the Super Skrull, and Gravik showcases even more of his power. Rava, or Skrull Rhodey, arrives to the hospital to take over the protection duties over the resting president. Gravik pushes Rava to tell the US President Ritson to bomb Russia. The Skrull tells the president that the Russians and rogue Skrulls are working together. Gravik even reveals their location to the humans. Fury later reunites with Sonya and spills the beans on his Skrull operation. The two find one of Fury's graves in Finland. There, he tells her that the Skrulls were able to grab the DNA of each Avenger during the climactic battle versus Thanos in Endgame. He retrieves the DNA inside the gravestone and decides to give Gravik what he wants. Sonya concludes that Fury is the one responsible for everything that's happened. While Olivia Colman has been a highlight this season, I was always left confused as to why her and Fury were so close and why Fury insisted on trusting her so much, especially when you go and show her your gold mine of all DNA. That's pretty risky business, and the fact that you're telling her there's multiple graves around the world that could have this DNA, I'm a little suspicious of where Sonya's allegiance lies, and I think the show intentionally left that open-ended. Fury then tells Sonya that he's essentially the only one that can stop Gravik, because the Avengers won't always be around after all. The show tries to build the main plot and situation between Nick Fury and Gravik, but episode 5 showed me a little different side of Gravik. He doesn't care for the well-beings of his people after learning about the harvest. He's clearly focused on beating Nick Fury, and everything else kind of takes the back seat. Honestly, I wasn't thrilled when the show went this direction. I really liked that there was faction differences between the Skrulls, and they were molding throughout mid-season. Talos and his side were trying to show a more peaceful side of the Skrulls. Gravik, however, wants to scorch the earth in episode 5. I understand the plans for his goal have changed, but it felt like such a drawback compared to the man of the people that we saw earlier in the season. We pick up in the finale where Fury arrives at New Skrullos to meet Gravik. Or is he? Struggling to breathe, Fury is able to reach the laboratory where the Skrulls were experimenting earlier this season. Meanwhile, Sonya and others try to reach President Ritson to stop Skrull Rhodey. He's trying to convince the president to basically bomb New Skrullos, where all the living humans are currently sleeping and being kept captive. There is a big cutback sequence in between the hospital shoot and the standoff at New Skrullos. Gaia is revealed to be disguised as Nick Fury and gives Gravik the vial that he wanted. He oddly adds it to his super machine and activates it with him and Gaia inside. But he does gain all the powers of the Avengers from Endgame. This also gives Gaia the same abilities, but only she's been in the machine sooner than Gravik, so she's much more used to the machine and fights off against Gravik. Fury meanwhile arrives to help Sonya fend off the Skrull forces. The two have a standoff of their own, each asking President Ritson to shoot the other. Gravik and Gaia destroyed the whole darn city of New Skrullos in their personal fight. They exchange power usages of Groot, Captain Marvel, and Drax, and many others. She defeats Gravik by blasting through his chest with a huge cosmic punch. Ritson meanwhile can't figure out who to shoot, so Fury does the job for him. This angers Ritson because he felt foolish for allowing himself to be fooled by a Skrull. The humans back on New Skrullos are saved in time before the launch of the nuclear missiles. Ritson stops those missiles, and Gaia awakens each human left sleeping by Gravik and his forces. She frees the real Rhodey, Agent Ross, and other global leaders. Time of peace is short-lived. An enraged President Ritson goes after many Skrulls out in the open world within US borders. Nick Fury calls him out and says that he's risking cutting off allies with his aggression. Ritson's clumsiness leads to the death of many innocent Skrulls and also some humans mistaken as Skrulls. Ritson says Fury should use his love for the Skrulls and take them off the planet. Gaia is later greeted by Sonya Falsworth and the two form an alliance. However, Sonya insists that theirs won't be built on love and empathy like Talos and Fury were. I would love it if you guys drop a like in this video. It would help get my video up in the algorithm and I would very much appreciate it. Also click that subscribe button so that you don't miss any future videos that I upload. And now, let's get back to the video. Interested to see where the two's bond goes with the status of that Super Skrull machine? Unknown. Fury patches things with his wife before darting off world, again. I'm guessing this will be the search for Carol Danvers in the upcoming The Marvels film. He also talks about a possible peace talks negotiation between the Kree Empire and the Skrulls. Varro decides to go with her husband and they leave together as the show concludes with a happy ending for Nick Fury. But not so happy for everyone else on Earth. He left the machine unattended and without protection before darting back into space. And I'm hoping that it's explained in Armor Wars where the point was when James Rhodes was exchanged for a Skrull. Some speculate it was after or during the events of Avengers Civil War. But Gravik's plan in alliance with Talos and Fury didn't change at that point. Rather, it changed after the events of Endgame. Like I said, the show left a lot of room to explain and to give some more exposition to the world the MCU is in now. The Super Skrull reveal was kind of too late in my opinion, and Gravik was unfortunately left off as a bland and generic villain at the very end of the season. I had some hopes for a big-time spy thrill adventure like in Winter Soldier, or even in The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but this unfortunately fell way short of my expectations. The cast had such a potential, but I do hope we get to see some more Emilia Clarke and Olivia Colman shine in future MCU projects. Time will tell, but no time to tell you that my rating for this show, unfortunately, is a 7 out of 10. Not a bad show, but a dull and oftentimes slow-pacing narrative that took way too long to get going. But what do you guys think of Marvel Studios' Secret Invasion? I love seeing the return of Talos, but his death again felt flat for me. I felt like he deserved some better outing, especially with his character having such a connection with the Marvels and Nick Fury and S.H.I.E.L.D. all together. But let me know what you guys thought about the show in the comment section below. Thank you for watching today's video, and I hope that you enjoyed today's topic. If you could hit that sub button, that would be awesome. Hit that like button and boost my video up on the algorithm. Click that bell so you don't miss any of my videos that get uploaded. And if you have some time to spare, check out some of these videos on your screen right now.